This is going to be an interesting one, Nick. So, what would you do if I told you that the community ranked the LeBron 2012 Prism at number 37, the
Huh.
Kobe Bryant 2012 Prism at number 41, and the Tom Brady at number 55?
Wow. So maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I had all three of those in my top 11. I had the Tom Brady 2012 Prism at number four. So to
Wow.
hear that it's 50 something, that's an eye opener.
The Brady made my list too, for what it's worth. I had it number 25, and
Okay.
other really smart people had it super high. But for whatever reason, I mean, let's call this like it is. There's so many recognizable, iconic cards
Mhm.
from this last 25 years. Why did you and I maybe think about some of these cards from 2012 a lot more positive way than the general collectors did?
Well, again, for me, it's the set. It was the first year of the Panini Prism, and then what does the Panini Prism become in the hobby and to collectors? It's become one of the biggest cards for a player, especially when you consider the rookie Prism, but also their 2012 Prism. It's one of their biggest non-rookie cards for guys like Brady, LeBron, and Kobe. But I also think of what is going to happen over the next 5, 10, 15 years as Topps takes over the licensing. Now we have a known limited quantity of cards like a gold prism. Right now, we know how many Tom Brady gold prisms there's going to be, unless there's a licensing change and all this stuff. It can happen, but it would take a long time for that to happen. So it's not going to get any more saturated than it is now currently. And then there's going to be nostalgia at some point for the Prism brand. We've already probably kind of seen it when it kind of took we went to that next level in the last few years or however long it's been since it kind of took that huge leap. But there's going to be another moment when we're 5 years into the Topps era where people are going to start to have nostalgia for those Prism cards, but especially those early and first release 2012 Prism cards, in my opinion.
Well, I obviously agree. Two of my best cards in my collection, or three of my best cards in my collection, are 2012 Prism cards, and I've been somebody who's talked at length about why I think it matters as much as it does. I think firsts matter. I think the Prism brand is easily the brand. I do think that the one thing you got to say about 2012 that is not ideal is that the rookie class doesn't carry it to some whole nother level. If you were to talk about like the greatest rookies in football or the greatest rookies in basketball, I don't know how far you have to go down the Prism era before you get to the first 2012s, and I think it's pretty far though. We're not talking about Mahomes and Luka and
Hmm.
Giannis and Wemby. Like we're talking about in basketball like Lillard and Kawhi Leonard, and those guys are great. But these three cards that we're talking about right now, and maybe we want to add the Steph Curry to that list too. I would want to add it to that list because
Yep.
it's obviously that I have. But those are all stars. They're not. It's Kobe, LeBron, Steph, Brady. They're well into their careers at this point. I wonder if in the end people will actually look back and say, "Gosh, that's one of their best cards." Speaking to the golds, or if people will be like, "You know what? It's just another card." Do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair to wonder. I think um, drawing it back into the 2012 Brady Prism specifically,
Mm.
for one, man, what could have been on the rookie side of the football, the 2012 Prism football, because that was the Andrew Luck RG3 draft class. And at the time, and in those first couple of years, we thought that was going to be an all-time class with RG3 and Luck. And look where we are now. Russell Wilson was the best player in that class, and Kirk Cousins is probably second, right? He was the second quarterback drafted by the Redskins in that draft. So, man, what could have been? But the reason I had the Brady so high is because I look at Brady's entire catalog of cards, and from 2001 to 2012 Prism, there's not a ton of like iconic cards. He has great cards in that era, but not many iconic. And when you look at a guy like LeBron, the reason I had the LeBron and Kobe lower is because they had the exquisite RPAs, and the patch auto selection for Tom Brady before 2014 flawless is very limited. I mean, there's a few in there that are important, but you're talking about tiny patch windows, just different designs than like what we got with 2014 Flawless. So when it comes to the overall card catalog for Tom Brady, I just think his 2012 Prism is much higher on the list than maybe it might be for a guy like LeBron and Kobe, who just have more really important cards kind of pre 2012.
You bring up the greatest omission that we had out of the whole catalog of cards that were on the survey. No matter what you do, right? We did everything we could to get the right number. We talked to so many different people. We didn't include the Flawless Brady autograph patch on the
Yeah.
survey. I don't know if it would have made the 25. I think it probably would have been close. He and LeBron are pretty easily the two guys that had the most spots in the final list, which is not shocking. But I
Yeah.
kind of wish we would have put the Flawless on there because I think it would have had a chance towards the end of the list. I still kind of don't think it would have made it. But with that said, I think your thoughts here on the Brady, why you put it at 4. I think they're fantastic. And every time I see one pop up, even in a silver, I look at it and I go, man, I don't think that the community still understands how much rarer those are than the more recent ones. I think there's so many fewer or so many more as the years have gone by. And then to your point as well, those intervening years between the rookie year and 2012, there are Brady cards. There are like refractors and cards that people like, and there's superfractors. There's all these cards that people like, but for whatever reason, none of them are as recognizable. I would argue, I would agree with you, as the 2012 Prism, and I have no problem in you putting Brady 4. I think it's awesome. And I think it's awesome that somebody who's super well respected in the industry said, hey, I'm putting 3 2012 Prism cards on my list. I believe in it that much. I was tempted to do that too. I didn't. I think I just put the Brady. I might have put the LeBron as well. I need to look back at my list. But I personally think that that people have different thoughts on this, and we'll see in time whether it ends up being as iconic as you and I think that it will be, or maybe the community in this case is right. Maybe it'll be something that sort of fades away. We'll have to see.
Yeah, time will tell. But I think I think it will stand the test of time as one of the top 3 sets from this 2000 era. But we'll see.
I think so too. All right. Okay. We'll